Ooh, Dan here, ESP Shop, working on this fine 56 Chevrolet. Danny is inside right now, so I'm on my own. She's actually mailing out t-shirts and stuff like that. So actually, anybody who's bought a t-shirt, I really do appreciate it. I know we don't see it enough, or maybe we do, but it makes a world of difference to us and allows me to do things like that and put it on the internet, which I find hilarious. I wonder if that's leaking again. Oh yeah, it is. I fiberglass patched and fiberglass. Anyway, we're working on front suspension of this thing. So a lot of people had told me that I'm an idiot. Let's be clear here. But about the front suspension here. So this thing came with this drop axle, which I thought was so cool. And a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll front clip these things, put a Mustang 2 front end in them. There's all sorts of stuff like that. And I like the idea of this. And it rides a little not great. Now at the end of the day, we can always clip it or do whatever we want down the road. But for right now, I'd like to kind of fight this out a little bit and see what we can accomplish. So, step one, it rides so stiff. I don't know if I can even do it here, but when there's no suspension travel, it's all in the tire. This is barely moving. You can see it just keeps bouncing because it's on the tire, not on the suspension. It's not absorbing anything. So this thing obviously has lots of leaves in it. The internet was saying take every second leaf out. Well, the problem is the second leaf actually wraps around, well, maybe not, the first leaf to a certain extent. So I was thinking maybe we'll take out that one and that one, take out two, see how that does. I also ordered a steering stabilizer, like a shock kind of deal, off some sort of Chevy truck, or maybe it was a Jeep, I'm not really too sure. And I gotta decide what I want to do with that. So, yeah, I mean, ideally, I guess you want to go with a frame, but I've seen lots of guys on Jeeps and whatnot, they attach it to the axle like on a 4x4. So I wonder, I mean, it's right here, right in line with it. I could literally put a bracket here and go over here and have all the room in the world, and if that would dampen it. Now, I don't know if that would cause any issues. I mean, it's a leaf spring deal. I don't think it's moving a whole lot back and forth, but I mean, worst case, we put it together and it's dead wrong, and we cut it off and try again, right? So I think that's the deal. I don't know if I bought El Cheapo shocks or not. I may have, but I think they're AC Delcos. So anyways, unfortunately, oh, the other thing was, I don't have my angle finder. Obvious. You'll have to trust me. So this axle, obviously it's got this, big drop in it, which is cool. And then it comes to these different arms, which lowers the steering. So it's all meant to be together. It works fine. I think though, I don't know what axle this is, but everyone I kind of seen, there's like a Speedway deal, there's a SIDS axle, there's a CPP, and they all say they have like 5 to 7, I think it was, of degrees of caster, and this one has, I want to say like 3.5 or 4, which is basically the same as a stock truck. So I think what the problem is, it's hard to show, in the truck has a rake a little bit higher in the back than the front. So when you do that, obviously you lose caster. So I did buy some shims. I may try and put those in as well. I got some 2.5 degree shims. So we'll go like 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6, like 6 degrees, which will probably, it actually drives really nice, but steers really easy and all that, which makes you think there's not a whole lot of caster in it. When I built that Chevy 2 for Danny a few years ago, I put lots, 10 maybe degrees of caster in, maybe even 12, lots and lots. And it's a pain to steer, like in parking lots and all that, and when you go straight, it rips it back straight. But going down the road, it drives straight as an arrow. So I'd like to put a little bit more in this thing. I think it might, between those little things, take some spring out of it, shock dampener, and maybe a little bit more caster, we'll probably have a pretty decent little unit. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to start taking this all apart, which is kind of lame. I wonder if I should just, the third spring has this piece and then that one. So actually, if I take this, those two, if I take those out, all the clamps will come off, and then I'll just go buy some new clamps and re-clamp it together after. and life will be easy, right? Okay, let's get this thing up in the air. Now, what I can probably do, because it's a spring over, is if we lift it up by the frame. Oh, this thing's a pain to lift by the frame though, because it's too narrow. We have to do some thinking here. So I can lift it up by the frame, let the axle hang. I unbolt it, the axle will get right out of my way, and then I can just work on the spring with it still on the truck. That would be ideal. All right, let me do a little thinking here and see what I can accomplish. See, you jumped ahead just a scotch. Well, we got a few leaves out of this one, so those guys down there, so that's cool. I had to make a new kind of locating pin bolt deal, so we got that all taken care of because the other one broke. And the reason why I actually modified, oh, here we go. So these are the shims I got. Now what we got to do is we got to basically, we have to lean the kind of upper ball joint, I'll call it, but the spindle has to kind of lean backwards to give it more caster. Now, if we would have put this thing on with the factory kind of button head, it wouldn't go all the way through and then center itself on in the axle. This side here is still all together. Maybe it doesn't look as bad, but that is shorter than the one that I've made. So that's cool. All I did over here was I basically just took a bolt and I welded another nut to it, double lengthened it, and there we go. That's all we got to do. Now the next thing is, I'll set the camera up. I've got all these little kind of clamps off, so we'll have to do something because there's no load on it right now. This is actually still pretty sturdy. So we can get some little clamps where they sell those like nothing. So we gotta do now is we gotta get the U-bolts out, the shock out of the way. That's all fine. And then we gotta get this top kind of nut off and the bolt to come through. Now I will say on the other side it just straight broke, and I'm probably just gonna break this one as well. Before we do that, we wanna make sure it's all clamped. So let's get the camera set up and we'll see what we can accomplish. Okay, so we got this kind of out of the way, just a little bit. Piece off. We're going to put a C-clamp on. Now, C-clamp's your friend because we're going to break this loose. By break it loose, I mean literally, probably just destroy it. And if you vice grip it, it would be hard to. This one's actually might lock out and come up. But if you vice grip it, you can't kind of loosen the springs, even though they're all the way dropped down, they're still clamped together, so they have some springiness to them. Well, that was wrong. Well, these vice grips are junk. You know, a good pair of vice grips goes a long way. Okay, so that broke. That's fine. Let's just come right out now. Maybe, no. Okay, so there we go. Now you'll see as we kind of loosen this, it's going to kind of separate. So I don't know if it would explode in your face or anything, but springs scare me. Okay, so we got that out. This is now in the way. Take that one I'm going to put back in. That one is junk. The bottom one I don't really think is going to do a whole lot other than maybe just give it a little bit of ride height, which I don't want to lower this thing anymore. My goal is just to have some springiness. Okay, so that's all good. This is the same front and back, I guess. There we go. So now, I'm gonna get my bolt. We'll locate everything. It probably won't go in the top one, but these three will be close. The We'll put the clamp on it, we'll have to clamp it back together. Nut on the top. And essentially that's it. And then we just got to put everything back together with those U-bolts. And it's got this little deal on top that kind of holds it. So that's cool. And then we'll put them shims in there. It should be back together right away. I might have to take the shocks apart. So I don't know if we'll be able to get those lined up or not. Just the bracket off, sorry. Here's a little discovery. So I'm just putting this back together. Anyways, I moved this around. I heard something fall off. It had a shim plate on one side, but not the other. I mean, nothing fell off. I didn't miss anything. So that's strange, but it must be like a 1 degree or 1.5 or something. So, I wonder what the deal is with that. Either way, we'll put this together and I guess remeasure it and see what it has. Hopefully, again, we're gonna we might lower the front a little bit, which I guess would give it a little bit more. I mean, I don't know, we're kind of winging it here, but at this point, everything comes apart, which is nice, nothing's all wore out. So we'll keep taking it apart, put it back together until it's fixed. But that was something. Just had an extra degree on that side versus that side. I can't imagine that's how it's supposed to be. But hey, this thing's been apart a few times in its life, I'm sure. Away she goes. So, it's not going great. I put it all together, and it seems good. I put the big shim in because I had a little one. There was one shim in it. This is on one side. It was weird. So now things got like 8 or so degrees of caster in it. I know it looks kind of crazy now because things jacked up, but 8 degrees when I put my angle finder on it. A little much, but I think it should be good. And nibs make everything better.
Tell them what I said when I came in.
Peace offering. So anyways, I've had back and forth part a few times now. So I think what actually had happened, these springs, it's kind of hard to show in this one, but they have this little groove in them. And that's where the other spring would sit, and they all had it quite bad. So I took a bunch out, it just sacked out, and it was like real bouncy. I'm like, well, that's not great. So if you can go under the side and look, I polished up the springs a little to avoid that groove. So now it seems like it has a normal amount of suspension. So it has one leaf out, and I hope it'll bounce now, but it's kind of in a funny spot. But it seems okay. Now, the other thing which I've done, and this may be my lack of knowledge, so I've centered the steering wheel and the steering box, because this thing originally we had it, the steering wheel's crooked and it had more turns one way than the other. So it was all put back together, whatever, it wasn't correct. So that's fine. Anyways, now with the steering box centered, and I believe the wheels are somewhat centered, I drove it on straight. They look, I mean close, we can adjust the toe, but the drag link, I think that's what it's called, is not going to want to fit in the spindle here, this side. So I think it's too long. So for this to work, you'd have to turn the wheel like that, which then puts this out to lunch, big time. So, yeah, so the wheel's turning that way. So you can't adjust it because the drag link is non-adjustable. So that's weird. And when you look for new ones, they are adjustable. So I don't quite understand that deal. Let's go. Oh, it's hitting the hoist. So I don't quite understand that. So the only other option is take this nut off and then take the pitman arm off and then adjust it a couple of splines. But that seems, it just seems wrong, because you're setting your toe on this wheel with that. So I might be missing something. I've never done this before on this style, but this is the exact same way that your Chevy 2 is. And this rod would be adjustable. So I'll probably order a new one, but that puts us in a waiting for parts situation, unfortunately. Also, I want to get new U-bolts. I reused the old ones, and they've shown a little bit of wear. Shoo. Unfortunately, I think we're just going to kind of put it back together with the steering wheel crooked. I might put that center link or the steering stabilizer on just for fun. Then I'll have to come back and finish this video off with a drag link. Kind of go from there, because it's steered okay actually, so I think the tie rod is probably good for the toe, so we'll just kind of keep that like side to side, and we'll just have to adjust the toe with this thing, or the angle, however you want to look at it. So yeah, it's I guess I just gotta Google that and see what the deal is. And these trucks, for every reason, because everybody just chops the front end off and clips them, there's not a whole lot of like, this is how you rebuild it situation. So maybe I'll call Murr, ask his opinion, because it's a new one for me. I mean, this is kind of old, but it doesn't have any play in it. So I don't get it. I don't get it. Why would this not be adjustable?
And I guess you can't like chop it and just squish it up, hey?
Well, you chop it and like re-weld it, which is really frowned upon when it comes to suspension.
Just thought I'd ask.
I just can't imagine you'd have to set the alignment by changing the pitman arm deal, but maybe that's how these old trucks were. Anyways, I think it should ride quite nice though, once we get that all kind of figured out and dialed together. Because actually, like I said, it has suspension now. We may even want to put that last little leaf in. Really needs a set of leaf springs, but so be it. So yeah, that's where we're at. A bit of a fail midway through the video. I don't know how we're going to end this one. How are we going to end it, Danielle?
Light it on fire?
No, you can't light the video on fire. Yeah. I don't know, I'll keep thinking on it, maybe do a little Googling, and we'll see where we end up. And you guys can furiously comment, and someone has the correct answer. It's my favorite part. And by the time you're commenting, I've either A, figured it out, or done something completely backwards, but it's working. Magic of the internet. So I decided to take this all apart, and you can see in this there's a big spline every quarter or so, and I hope that shows up on camera. So basically, you can't really put this together wrong. Now I marked the way it was on anyways. So the wheel is pretty much straightish. I put a little bit of toe in, and then if we put this guy all back together, it's all dark in here unfortunately, but oops, this is kind of the way it wants to be. So we're like one spline or so out. You see the mark isn't quite where it wants to be. I don't know if that'll show up or not. And if we make the mark line up, obviously it turns the wheel. So that's on the mark. But now if we look at the wheels, they're probably turned. Yeah, so this one's turned that way. This one, like really harder to show, but the disc is...
See, I feel like I can see the disc being turned out better than I can see this wheel.
Yeah, well, I mean, so we can just kind of do it. That's 12 3/4. On the back side, it's like 12 1/2 or so. So this would have a 1/2 inch or more, and it's kind of hard to get of toe out. So that's wrong. You don't want that. So ultimately, what I'm going to assume, and I'll have to do a little Googling now we go in, but when you do this drop axle, see the drop axle, and what I've seen, comes with an axle, it changes the tie rod to be down low, and it flips it on the bottom side. I think they're on the top usually, maybe. And so I assume this whole steering arm is unique to the drop axle, and what probably also comes with it, or maybe by extra, is going to be a adjustable drag link, because this is in no way that. So I guess when they built these trucks originally, they put them together, and there was literally no adjustment in the front end. You put it together, you center steering box, this wheel's straight, that's straight, and you set the toe on the one side, that's it. I mean, you bolt in the front end, so there's no camber adjustments whatsoever, and I guess caster you do a shims. So pretty simple old stuff, but it worked. I mean, they used these for years and years and years. So I'll order one of these. Unfortunately, it's the weekend, and I go to town a couple days next week, but when I'm back, maybe if I pay for the express shipping, it can be here. In the meantime, I can put it all back together, and the wheel will be crooked, such is life. That was life lesson on this. And I guess maybe we could put that shock on, end the video that way, and then it's kind of is what it is. Kind of a bit of a lame way to go, but kind of life, unfortunately. This we're gonna be waiting on parts. Yeah, no good. Well, we're doing a bunch of miscellaneous right now, but I have faith that it'll be fine, or at least better. So I did something off camera there. So a bunch of forums recommended you kind of lower the steering links, you heat it up and kind of move it gently so it's got a dead straight kind of what's it called there? I'm losing my mind here. Whatever that adjuster is. Then I bought a new one, not the tie rod. I'm losing it. So anyways, we got that, so it's dead straight, everything's good. The alignment's gonna be good side to side, and I ordered drag link. I ordered a drag link. The next thing I did, I bought this. I didn't know what it was off of, some miscellaneous truck. Oh, I may have this the wrong way now that I'm looking at it, but I gotta flip this around. So maybe I'll just do that right quick. But I got this steering stabilizer with hopes that it'll help a little, but I guess it might make it, without power steering, a hassle. I'm not really too sure yet it's gonna be that. But again, we're just kind of shotgun approaching, trying to make this thing a little nicer to drive. Because Danny's gonna drive this, and I mean, we'll see. If it drives nice, we could road trip it for sure. So we'll do that maybe. So what I want to do, and this is again, I think I said earlier in the video, this is a bit of a hillbilly thing. I want to go right to the axle, and that'll make my life much easier, but it may not be ideal. It may bind up or jostle around and stuff. But the other thing is, once this is on, it's literally a nut on each end. We can take it off and see if it makes it better or worse. So really, you can't go wrong. I think it was like $40. It was so cheap that all the holes are just torch cut out, and they only gave me one set of rubber bushings for the shock. So we're gonna have to, if I have one, to steal from somewhere. And this is now in my way. We'll have to look at the top ones kind of mostly tight, and then just send the bottom ones home. That's what we're gonna do. Look at that. Ouch. Ow, I pinched my thumb. That hurt. What?
You're having a lot of finger casualties lately.
Yeah, it's not great. Okay, so we got that on there. This had 8 inches of travel, so I put it out to 4. And now all we're gonna do is basically just shock absorber. So I guess I should put it on the right way. So that goes there. This will go there. What are you doing?
Something leaked on me.
Oh, it's probably transmission fluid. So now the next thing is if I just make a little bracket. Well, it gave me a bracket with, again, man, that really hurt my thumb. Something, we just got to kind of weld. Honestly, I'll probably just cut that off and weld it right to it some way, somehow. Maybe right just like that. So it'll be stepped away, and then that will
I'm standing under a leak.
I don't think it's leaking that bad. How can you be linked on 3 times when there's nothing on the ground? So we'll do that.
My head's catching it.
I wonder if this matters what it has to be. You can flip it downwards. Yeah. But unfortunately, like I said, brand new box with all these parts. And it gave me the washers for it and the nut for it, but only one set of little rubber isolators, which is actually kind of frustrating. I think I did buy shocks for something. It might have been for this. I can steal them out of it. Kind of hate doing that. Ugh. Or have I already lost them out of this? So I've lost them out of that one too. Mint. Okay, well, I gotta see if I can look around and find some. I know I have some somewhere. Stolen from something else. So now, I got a little torchy on accident. Just kind of cut this deal up, and then, is that a gloves anywhere? We'll make our own bracket. It really sucks how today is not going to end on a win.
But those are nice gloves.
You mean these gloves, Danielle?
And nice safety muffs.
They do drown out the stuff I don't want to hear. You think there's a comment right now about why it wasn't using the vise?
We're not used to a vise anymore.
So now, hopefully, I can steal all this garb. Nothing leaked in here. Nothing leaked on your head, I saw.
I know, I was just pushing my hair back from my face. I'm standing under the lift now.
Oh, make sure you don't knock your melon.
I just fit.
Does it really matter what way this goes? I don't think so. The nice thing with owning a welder and a grinder,
You can always undo.
so when we screw this up,
Control-Alt-Delete.
it's irrelevant.
So will this make it harder to steer since it's manual? Is that
There's a
what you were
chance of that,
saying?
yeah. I did a bunch of stuff actually, arguably to make it harder to steer. We put a bunch of caster in it. What is this? Not a China. I put a bunch of caster in it, which will bring it back real quick, and yeah, adding a stabilizer, like I don't know how much it will affect it, but again. It is kind of irrelevant. Okay, I'll just actually, where's the measure? Should make sure this is still at 4 inches. You know, I don't know. Oh, here it is. So that should be right about dead center in its travel, which is, I'm thinking, where we want to have that thing sit. So now we'll just kind of blaze this piece on right quick. Might look a little ugly, but It's more of a, it's a start project. It's a test piece. See how it's gonna work. Where's the grinder? Oh, it already has a battery on it. Is there anything in it? Okay. That's good. Honestly, I'm so motivated that everyone keeps telling me this straight axle is going to drive terribly that I almost feel like any amount of money I'm going to spend to make it drive bearable. Or we'll just have to grin and bear it, so we can't let the internet win. You want to unplug that air line and then move the... Pull it back. Yep. No. Oh, there you go. Throw it on the ground. Push the scissor jack back. Use all of your might.
Oh, it's not very much might.
That's what we got. Will this be able to... Oh, I might have boned that a little bit. Oh well. Okay. I don't know how much bracing we need to do to this thing. Can't imagine there's that much load on it.
You had a very good stand.
Did I?
Yeah.
Actually, probably zip that off a little bit too, or at least make it look a little nicer. There's my little impact. Man, the battery situation here would need more. We're gonna have to tighten these a little bit. That was not going on the best there. I need to change the... Oh, I wonder if I'm using the nut from the kit, not from the... Anyways, that's that. Like I said, we'll torque all those down. But now as you steer, it's going to have this shock kind of slowing it down back and forth. So in theory, if you get like a big bump or something like that, this will slow it down. This drag link being dead level while going straight should also eliminate that. Oh, and now I guess we can show there's a little bit of suspension. What can I grab here?
Do it again.
Are you looking at me instead? Honestly, I think what happened is we might even have to put that other spring back in, because now it's got a bit like it's dead flat. Before they were caught on all these bits. Right. So I think it was like solid mounted front end. So really need to set a front leaf springs. It might be a little bouncy going down the road, but we should be good. Oh, and I had my angle finder. I kept thinking it was a... But yeah, so we got, can you show in there? 7, so like 7-ish, yeah, 7 or so, 7.05. Hopefully that shows up on camera. Worth of caster. So that's like the kit, I think originally supposed to have 5 to 7, so we got right on the end, 7.5 degrees. That's straight. Once we can adjust that, we can then get the steering box centered. Because the thing is, the steering box isn't centered. It'll be all over the road. There's a little bit of kind of play type thing right in the center of the box if we're going down the straight. So we'll do that. We'll put some adjustment in the box, make sure it's snugged up. We'll pack it full of grease. Ooh, a bolt. And I think that's that. But unfortunately, that's where we're going to leave it for now. And I'll probably just change that drag link and we'll do an alignment on my own time because I'm gone and I want this thing out because I actually want to work on that blue car. I'm at a crossroads though.
For the love of goodness, take off those ugly, ugly rims.
Yeah. The very least we got to make it run and drive again. And then see if I can get it on the lift and swap the rim. The problem is this thing is now literally one piece away from we can start test driving it, but it's going to drive like garbage until we get that piece.
So you might as well just wait.
Well, might as well wait, but then I kind of want to switch around. So
but if you're gone, like maybe it'll show up real quick.
I paid for extra shipping, so it'll be here Wednesday, and I'm back on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So it'll be here when I want, but that means all day tomorrow I can't work on nothing. So we might as well get this thing off. Or at the very least, we'll get this thing running. Maybe tomorrow we'll do that. Go through it all. We're gonna have to put the axles together.
I got something to do tomorrow. Under the lift.
Oh.
Oh.
The problem is you want to put that video out like 3 weeks before this one's coming out. So it's not even a surprise.
Oh no.
Anyways, thanks for watching. Again, thanks for buying Magic Fingers, the muffs, all those things. And we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully shortly here. Tomorrow even.